Alisa, and today I'm here to talk to you guys about legalizing medical marijuana in Idaho. I believe that anyone who is going to vote on medical marijuana needs to know a little bit about the history and why it was actually legalized in the United States, and why I think it should be legalized, at least for medical purposes, if not recreational. There is a petition out called the Medical Choice Act for Idaho, and this is a petition that when I am done, I will like you guys to sign if you will. I also have voter registration cards, because in order to sign the petition, you have to actually be a registered voter. So we have to send that in first. Okay. A little bit about the history of marijuana. Well, it dates back to 6000 BC, where we used the seeds of it for food. And by 1492, Christopher Columbus had brought cannabis sativas to the Americas. By 1619, hemp was required to be grown in Jamestown, the Virginia colony. In 1840, cannabis-based medicines were in all pharmacies across all the colonies and whatever states were by then. In 1906, the Pure Food and Drug Act was established, and this was the first oversight over any drugs in the United States. But the early 1900s, Mexican immigrants started coming over our border and looking for work, and after a hard day work in the fields, they smoked marijuana. Well, the white Europeans at the time noticed that this was a habitual thing and didn't like it, and they believed to give them superhuman strength. So in 1914, a group of white men was allegedly attacked by a Mexican high on this loco weed. And the El Paso City Council decided to put an ordinance banning any possession of marijuana. Well, this was basically more to control the Mexican population versus actually controlling the weed itself. In 1930, the Treasury Department was given control of all their drugs and narcotics, so they created the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. And Harry J. Onslinger was the first commissioner of this. He was a prohibitionist, and he was the one that declared our war on drugs and allegedly shaped America's views on marijuana. Everyone thinks marijuana is bad, but he campaigned for everyone to believe that marijuana was bad. He did ads saying that if you smoke marijuana, you were going to kill people, that you would die yourself, that you would go temporarily insane. There was a movie called Reefer Madness where a girl actually laughs hysterically as her boyfriend, who had also smoked the substance, beat a guy to death. And that's what people actually started to think that marijuana actually did to you. He did this campaign, and it was a success in all 50 states. Everyone signed on to do a Narcotics Act. October 2nd, 1937, Roosevelt signed the Marijuana Tax Act. And this is where you were able to get tax stamps and actually grow marijuana. They were $1 a piece. But the problem was the government wasn't issuing these out, so it was still pretty much illegal in the United States. That's where they got you. And as soon as they did this tax act, they raided the Lexington Hotel in Colorado and arrested a man, 58 years old. He was an unemployed laborer, and he had 2 joints on him. He got in trouble for possession and got sent to 4 years to prison and a $1,000 fine. He spent his whole time, served his sentence, and then died a year after he was released. The mayor of New York didn't agree with this tax stamp act either. He decided to get a 6-year study with 31 impartial scientists to actually do a huge study and research thing on marijuana. His findings were published in 1944, disproving Onslinger's propaganda and his claims. His muscle with the press discredited the whole report, and then he ended up destroying any copies that he could get his hands on, and then made sure that there was no more research done on marijuana in the United States. But the popularity of marijuana still grew. things in the 60s, there was things like Woodstock and the Grateful Dead concerts, and everyone started smoking, and by 72, 24 million Americans had actually already smoked marijuana. Nixon thought it would be a good idea to make the states have control of the drug, part of the drug schemes, so that the federal government didn't have to do everything. So he put together the Controlled Substance Act. Well, no. Congress abolished mandatory minimum sentencing after he did this to reduce the penalties on marijuana, because Nixon was focusing just on marijuana instead of all the other drugs. And the National Commission on Marijuana and Drug Abuse said that smoking in one's own home should not be criminalized, and yet still nothing has been done about marijuana. In 2003, Canada was the first country to legalize medical marijuana, and yet the U.S. is still resistant to change its laws. 16 out of 50 states are medical marijuana states, and there's at least 10 pending still right now. One of them is actually Idaho. Like I said in the beginning of this, that I actually have the Medical Choice Act and voter registration cards, and I also have a circulator instruction pamphlet. If anyone would like to be a circulator and actually get your word out there and legalize medical marijuana for the people that need more of a holistic remedy, who doesn't like to take pain pills, if pain pills make their stomach sick. Marijuana helps with anxiety, stress, all sorts of pain relievers for different things. I have a list of over 100 different diseases and conditions that medical marijuana helps. I mean, if you need any information whatsoever, you can give me a call, email me, whatever. I have all of the stuff that you need, and I'd gladly assist you. And I appreciate you hearing me out today, and I hope you actually register and vote for medical marijuana. Thanks.